Every single day, someone will say something that gets under your skin. A rude comment, a dismissive look, an unfair word. And in that moment, you will feel it, that heat rising in your chest, that urge to fight back. But here is the truth most people never learn. The moment you react, you hand over your power. You let someone else decide how your day feels. This story is about a man who spent years giving his peace away until one conversation changed everything. Welcome to Bright Tales, where every story is a step toward a calmer, stronger you. In a quiet village nestled at the foot of rolling hills, there lived a man named Kareem. Everyone in the village knew his name, not for anything he had built or achieved, but for his temper. It arrived before he did. If his food was slightly off, his voice filled the house. If a neighbor's animal wandered onto his land, his shouts could be heard 3 doors down. Even the sound of children playing outside, innocent, joyful noise, could set him off. Can anyone be quiet for just one moment? He would bark from his doorway. He genuinely believed the world around him was broken. Everyone else was the problem. The neighbors were disrespectful. The children were inconsiderate. The shopkeepers were dishonest. And he, Kareem, was the only reasonable person in any room he entered. His wife, Nadia, tried gently, again and again. "Kareem," she would say in her patient voice, "why do you let such small things take so much from you?" And Kareem would frown and say, "Because people don't behave properly. What am I supposed to do? Smile while they disrespect me?" He had no idea that in trying to defend his dignity, he was destroying his own peace. He had no idea that the one controlling his emotions was never the neighbor, never the shopkeeper, never the laughing children outside. It was always him. Then one summer, a monk arrived in the village. He was a quiet man, simply dressed, unhurried in his movements. He settled beneath an old tree near the village well and, without announcing himself, simply sat. Word spread quickly. People said his presence alone made you feel calmer, that his words had a way of landing exactly where you needed them. Crowds gathered each evening to sit with him and listen. Nadia suggested, carefully, that Kareem might benefit from visiting. Kareem laughed it off. "A monk? What is he going to tell me that I don't already know? He doesn't live among the people I have to deal with." And so he didn't go. Not yet. A few days later, while Kareem was working in his field, a young boy from the village accidentally knocked over and broke one of his tools. It was an honest mistake, the kind children make simply by being children. But Kareem erupted. He shouted with such force that birds scattered from the nearby trees. The boy fled home in tears. That evening, Kareem sat alone. The anger had passed, but what it left behind was worse. A heavy, hollow feeling that he couldn't shake. He pressed his hand to his chest and whispered to himself, almost confused, "Why do I always feel worse after? Not better, worse." He didn't sleep that night. Before the sun came up, he found himself walking toward the old tree. The monk was already awake, sitting with his eyes closed, completely still. Birdsong surrounded him like a conversation he was peacefully part of. Kareem stood at a distance for a while, not sure what to say. Then he sat down, and the words came on their own. "I'm tired," he said. "People make me angry constantly, and I can't stop it. I don't know how to stop it." The monk opened his eyes and looked at Kareem with the kind of calm that doesn't come from an easy life, but from a long, deliberate practice of choosing peace. "Tell me something," the monk said. "When someone puts anger in you, how long does it stay?" Kareem thought about it. "Sometimes an hour. Sometimes the whole day follows me. And when it finally leaves, how do you feel?" Kareem exhaled. "Empty. Worn out." The monk nodded slowly. "That is because anger does not punish the person who caused it. It burns the one who holds it. He reached beside him and lifted a simple clay bowl filled with still water. "Look at this. Right now, you can see clearly in it, yes?" He tilted it gently toward Kareem. The surface was like a mirror, but watch what happens when it is disturbed. He stirred the water with one finger, and the reflection broke into chaos. That is your mind when emotion takes over. You cannot see yourself. You cannot see the situation clearly. You cannot make a good decision. You are simply reacting, and whoever disturbed you is now in control of you. Kareem stared at the water slowly settling. "So I should say nothing?" he asked. "Just stay silent when someone wrongs me?" "No," the monk said firmly. "There is a difference between silence and stillness. I'm not asking you to swallow everything. I'm asking you to respond, not react. A reaction is automatic. A response is chosen." He paused. "Think of it this way. If someone throws dirt at you, you have two options. You can reach out and catch it, or you can simply step aside and let it fall to the ground. The dirt is theirs. The choice of what to do with it is always yours." The next morning, the monk called Kareem back and asked him to bring a pot of water and a handful of sand. Kareem did as he was asked. The monk instructed him to set the water to boil over a small fire. As the water began to bubble and steam, the monk asked, "Can you put your hand in now?" "That is anger," the monk said simply. "When your emotions reach that boiling point, peace becomes untouchable. You cannot access it. You cannot share it. You can only wait for it to pass, or learn not to let it boil in the first place." Then the monk poured a spoonful of sand into the bubbling pot. The water immediately clouded. And that is what happens to your mind when you react before you think. Everything becomes unclear. You say things you don't mean. You do things you later regret. The sand of reaction muddies everything. He poured the water carefully into a separate bowl and set it aside. They sat in silence for several minutes. Slowly, the sand drifted downward and the water above it cleared, still and transparent once again. "You see," the monk said quietly, "the water didn't need to be fixed. It just needed stillness. And so do you." Kareem sat with that for a long time. He went home that day carrying something new inside him. Not a rule, not a technique, but an understanding. For years, he had believed other people were stealing his peace. He now saw that he had been handing it to them, freely, every single time he reacted. He decided it was time to stop. The first days were not easy. Old habits pushed back hard. One afternoon at the market, a shopkeeper tried to shortchange him, clearly, deliberately. Kareem felt the familiar heat rise in his face, his jaw tighten, his words forming. But just before they came out, he stopped. He took one slow breath. Then he looked at the shopkeeper calmly and said, "I'll take my business to someone I can trust," and turned and walked away. The shopkeeper stood there, thrown off completely. He had expected a fight and received nothing to hold on to. And Kareem, walking through the market, noticed something strange and unfamiliar. He felt completely fine. No heaviness, no hollowness, just quiet, clean peace. He slept deeply that night for the first time in years. More tests came, as they always do. A group of young men in the village began to mock him publicly. "Look, the angry man thinks he's a saint now," they called out, laughing. Kareem felt it. He felt his hands tighten. He felt the old self stir. But the monk's voice came to him clearly. "When you react, you give your power away." He breathed. He smiled, genuinely, without forcing it. "You're not wrong," he said to them. "I used to lose my temper constantly. I'm still learning." Then he kept walking. The young men looked at each other, confused. One of them called after him, half curious now, "How can you stay calm when we're trying to provoke you?" Kareem paused. He turned back and said simply, "If someone holds out a cup of poison and offers it to you, you don't have to drink it. No one had a response to that. Weeks became months. Nadia watched her husband change in ways she had quietly stopped hoping for. He didn't raise his voice anymore. When things went wrong, and things always go wrong, he paused, thought, and responded. He smiled more. He slept better. The house felt different. When Kareem returned to the monk to share what had changed, he bowed his head and said, "I understand it now. People were never making me angry. My own unguarded mind was making me angry. They were just the occasion. I was the cause." The monk smiled warmly. That is the lesson most people spend a lifetime missing. Will people ever stop testing me? Kareem asked. The monk laughed, a full, easy laugh. When the storm sees that you no longer run from it, it loses interest in chasing you. Years passed. Kareem became someone people sought out when they were troubled. He would sit with them and listen without judgment. And when he spoke, he said things like, "Peace isn't about the world going quiet outside. It's about learning to be quiet inside." A young boy from the village once asked him, "Uncle Kareem, don't people still try to make you angry?" Kareem smiled. "Sometimes they try, but when you stop reacting, their power over you simply disappears. You cannot control the wind, but you can learn to sail." We will never live in a world without difficult people, unfair moments, or words that sting. That is not the goal. The goal is this: to stop letting those things decide how we feel. Every reaction is a choice. Every breath taken before responding is a small act of strength. The person who learns to control their reaction has learned to control their life. So the next time someone throws dirt in your direction, pause, breathe, and remember, you don't have to catch it. If this story gave you something worth holding on to, share it with someone who needs a little more peace in their life today. Subscribe to Bright Tales for more stories that make you stronger, calmer, and more yourself.